Hi folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead. This is Travis, the Prepared Homestead here. So there's been a lot of questions going online about decontaminating yourself. If that's something that you should do or how to do it. And I've been seeing a lot of these questions, and I've even tried to answer some of them myself with people. And so today's video is going to try to answer some of those questions. So with everything that's happening out there, like I said, a lot of people are starting to become concerned with this. You know, is this something that we should do? Should we think about decontaminating ourselves or have some type of system set up to, so that we're not bringing this thing into our home? Now, if you've already been infected with it, something like this certainly isn't going to work. But if you have it on your clothing, on your hands, somewhere on your body, you could definitely transfer that into your home and it spread around. So that's what I wanted to show you. Now, in thinking about this the other day, seeing all these people ask questions, I started to think about it. I'm like, how could I make one really cheap and really fast just to show folks how easy this is? Now, to start off with, I do have some background in this. I was once a specialist in chemical, nuclear, and biological terrorism, which I have used a decontamination tent and full gear many times. And so I do have some training and knowledge in this area. And so I was thinking, could folks make something really cheap, really quick, and how to do that? So I decided to throw this together as an example of what you can use. It's not something that I'm using. Who knows if it will ever get used, but I wanted to demonstrate how to do this. This is super easy. Basically, I used two main things: 1/2-inch PVC pipe, a few fittings, and some pretty cheap clear plastic sheeting. Usually somewhere between 2 and 3 mil is sufficient for what we're doing here. And also some duct tape. I have there's maybe $40 here worth of material, and it took me probably 30 minutes to construct it. I did it really, kind of easy. I didn't really do a whole lot of measuring and stuff because I was trying to put myself in the mindset, if there was an emergency, if things started getting really bad and people were like, oh my goodness, I got to do this, and they're wanting to try to construct something pretty quickly. That's kind of how I did this. And it took me 30 minutes or so to construct it. And I'm going to show you here in a little bit what I've got going. It's 10 foot long by 4 foot wide and has 3 chambers in it. The first chamber is going to be where you would come in and take off all your clothing. The second chamber is where you're going to decontaminate yourself. And the third chamber is where you're going to redress. Now, let me make this clear. A system like this, and I'm not just talking about one that I've thrown together, but even a professionally made one, it's never 100%. This is not something like a negative pressure room where you can have quite high assurance that whatever enters that room does not exit that room. So there's always a chance that you're not completely decontaminated. But if you really felt the need, something like this could certainly work. You would want to set this up. Right now I'm in my garage. If you have a side room to your house, like a side entrance that you can close off from the rest of the house and kind of create a clean room to go in and construct something similar to this, that would be the best bet. You don't want to have it in your living room and walk into your house and decontaminate. You've already contaminated the house by walking into your living room, right? This one that I'm showing you is not going to be good enough to set outside. It's not that high of construction, although you could do something like that. If you had one of those little carport type things, you can even buy portable ones. Something like that could also be used if you wanted to do this outside. So I just wanted to make that clear. I'm not making any claims that if you did this, you would never bring anything into your home. What I'm saying is that this is a way, if you felt you needed to decontaminate yourself and not bring anything into your home. It would greatly reduce the chances of that. So let me spin this around and I'm going to kind of walk you through what we've got going here. All right, as you can see here, the corners have the, I'm trying to remember what they're called now, kind of the Y joint that has the 3 outlets, and I have 8 of those. And there's a 10-foot piece right here that I've cut in half for both the top and the bottom. And then here in the middle, I've got T fittings to connect them. I made mine because I'm tall, so I made mine about 6.5 foot tall. But you know, you can make it however you want. Again, I used 12 10-foot pieces of PVC, 8 of the Y joints, and 4 of the T's fittings. And then I had to piece a couple of together for the 4-foot widths, and so I used a coupling for that. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4-foot pieces, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 5-foot pieces, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 6.5-foot pieces. And I was able to get that out of 12 10-foot pieces of 1/2-inch PVC. And then this is the covering. Now I didn't seal it up real tight yet, but it is on there and taped. You'd probably want to go through and seal up the seams a little bit better. This plastic, I used 40 feet of 10-foot plastic. I left enough at the bottom to be able to tuck it under or to tape it to the concrete if you wanted to. So let's go inside and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so this is the first chamber. Now, what I've done is I've overlapped the doors. So there's an overlap there that you can kind of tuck in, and overlapped here. And again, this isn't 100%, but this certainly is going to be a better level of decontamination than just walking in your house and taking things off. Like I said, again, I didn't have it taped it all up because I'm only doing this just as a demonstration to show you folks how easy this can be done. But taped it here at the top, and then you can tape it. I've just done it enough that it's hanging to give you an idea. There's a little bug that's gotten in here. And seal it up. You'd want to seal it up along here to make sure you've got a pretty good tight seal. You're just going to leave a little bit here for the opening, and that's overlapped on the outside up here so that it's, you know, keeping it closed off more. So this area you would want to come in and decontaminate, or sorry, you'd want to undress. One thing that you can do is have some like large lawn bags in here to put your clothes in, and some Lysol, spray it in there, shake it up and close it down real good. That's one way to help decontaminate your clothing. Now let's go into the next one, and that's where I've done something a little different, and I'll show you what it is, if you can see. All right. Looks like a cloud machine in here. I hope you guys can see this. What I have done is placed a cool mist humidifier in here. And I'll leave a link to this one. This is a Vicks. You can get them at Walmart and Amazon, places like that. So the reason behind this is that most viruses do not survive in a very high humidity environment. And as you can see, with closed off in a small space, this thing is putting out a cloud. You can put hydrogen peroxide in there. In this one, I put 1 large bottle, or you can put bleach in there. You don't need very much bleach, just enough to help aid in purifying the air. Again, this is not 100% effective, but it can aid in killing things that are airborne. And so in this area, you'd want to have probably a little table, small, like a little card table or something in here to decontaminate yourself. Soap and water works really well. You'd want to have this set up before you leave so that when you come back home, it's ready to use. A little bucket or pail or pan or something like that of some soap and water to wash off the areas that are exposed to the outside. And then we go into the final chamber. And in this chamber, you're going to probably have some clothing here, a little table with your clothes, and where you can dry off a towel, and you can dry off and get dressed. And then you will exit to go inside. Now again, this is not 100% containment and decontamination. But for those of you, see, I haven't even taped this side of it. I wanted to demonstrate how easy it is, because I'm starting to see a lot of questions about, is this something someone could do? And for very little money and very little ingenuity, you can put something like this together and have a way to decontaminate yourself better than just walking in your house and taking your clothes off, if this is something that you're interested in. But if you think that you need this, all the fog in here is making my camera struggle to keep in focus. If you think that this is something that's necessary for you, I wanted to simply just show you how easy it is, give you a quick demonstration of how easy it is to put something like this together and how cheap it would be. I'm not saying that everyone needs this or that it's necessary at all, simply just answering the question. Again, this structure is 10 foot long by 4 foot wide. I've used 12 of these 1/2-inch PVC pipe that comes in 10-foot lengths. They're usually less than $2 a piece at like Lowe's or Home Depot. These fittings here, I've used 8 of them. I've used 4 T-fittings, 8 of these and 4 T-fittings. And I used one coupling. All right, folks, there you have it, your home DIY decontamination tent.